Hey folks, I'm Joe Bongiovanni from the Kettle Pond Institute for Debt-Free Money. Lacking my partner, Peter Young, who's out of the country and who's ordinarily here with me chatting over a coffee with Joe over something happened to do with monetary reform. Happens to be February 3rd, year 2010. Happens to be my granddaughter Elena's 5th birthday, to which I say happy birthday to you, Schmoopy. Maybe someday you'll be old enough to watch this video and actually understand what the heck it was Papa was talking about. And that goes for the rest of you listeners as well. Huffington Post today has a nice piece by 3 Democratic congressmen who identify themselves as progressives. Steny Hoyer, George Miller, and Vermont Democrat Peter Welch gets to wear the progressive mantle from Vermont. The discussion has to do with deficits, and that's what we're going to be talking today, is deficits and debts. Deficits and debts, that deficit-debt syndrome that has the country and actually the world in the grips of the debt industry being the fractional reserve bankers, paralyzing our ability to have an ordinarily operating economy. Is because these progressives not have a clue about something that I call monetary sovereignty. Okay. Sovereignty of our money system. If they understood the sovereignty of our money system, what they would understand is that we, the people of the United States, own and control the money system, even though it's being run right now by those fractional reserve bankers who have basically indebted the citizens of this country to their way of creating money by debt. All money is created by debt under a fractional reserve banking system of creating money. So we have the progressives saying, no, we can't do that. We have to be responsible. We have to protect Helena and the people in the future from the debts that are going to come out of deficit spending. You have a deficit. If you don't understand your monetary rights as a nation, private bankers can tell you you need to borrow the money, okay? Which you don't need to do. There's no reason in the world for you to think that any country needs to do that, any sovereign country. Any sovereign country can carry through its budgeting process where everything in the budget is laid out in the open for everyone to see what it is that's in there and what the amount of money is that's being called for. And of course, that should be a rational process and a rational amount of money that's being created. But once that you have identified everything that's going to be in the budget and what the money is going to be for, the government has the ability to spend that deficit that we identify as a deficit, that's what we call it, okay, that shortfall, into existence as new money, as the new money that the economy needs to keep growing. Now, not to say that governments can't spend too much money into existence. They can. The result would be inflationary. Or, under the same circumstances, if they don't spend enough money into existence, the effect would be deflationary. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world we're in. We're into the deflationary world. We're into the world that we don't have enough money being created by the government in order to keep people working. And if we don't have the jobs, we don't have the wages. And if we don't have the wages, we don't have the taxes. And if we don't have the taxes, we have deficits. And if we have deficits, we have to borrow. And if we have to borrow, we have to increase the debt and the interest payments. And there's the syndrome that we're in today. The debt money system is broke and broken. But it's a pity that we seeing the so-called progressives of the world uniting behind this concept of doing something about the deficit when they don't understand the money system or the monetary science. Now, hat tip to the Chartists, because the Chartists at least are people who identify the real fact in a limited way, in my humble opinion, to the chartalists who do excellent work, on the part that they're doing their excellent work on, which is showing that deficit spending is not inflationary, showing that governments are sovereign entities, that they do have the right to manage their money's system, and to do it in the interest of the people of the country. The chartalists are right about that, and the deficit. And by the way, this is in keeping with the Chicago Plan for Monetary Reform, something else I want to talk about at length. But the greatest economists of the time in this country supported it. Conservative Milton Friedman supported it. A lot of conservatives did. So we were talking about that, and want to use an example, if I could, about this concept. Back in the 20s and 30s, when we were moving into some government actions with regard to development, we had the Muscle Shoals project in Alabama, which was a dam hydro project. It was just an incredibly successful project in terms of what it did. Okay, that is to say, the results of the development. And there were two great Americans who took a look at that project together. One was Henry Ford, the guy who basically figured out, mass production. We can't make cars if the people can't afford to buy them. That's how it works with housing, gang. That's why we're in the predicament that we're in. And Thomas Edison, the guy who invented, 10,000 light bulbs before he got it right. So those two guys together were down at Muscle Shoals, and they were advocating for the type of money creation that I'm talking about here. Thomas Edison had a couple of things to say when he was saying, don't borrow the money for this project, because if you do, you're going to basically have to pay for the project 3 times over. And as one of my sayings is, we pay 3 times for every bag of groceries. But this is what Thomas Edison had to say. He said, if we do that, people who will not turn a shovel full of dirt on the project, nor contribute a pound of material, will collect more money from the United States than will the people who supply all the material and the people who do all the work. This is the terrible thing about interest. Further, he said, if the nation can issue a dollar bond, it can issue a dollar bill. The element that makes the bond good makes the bill good also. The difference between the bond and the bill is that the bond lets the money broker collect twice the amount of the bond and an additional 20%, whereas the currency, the honest sort, provided by the Constitution, pays nobody but those who contribute in some useful way. It is absurd to say our country can issue bonds and cannot issue currency. Both are promises to pay. One fattens the usurer and the other helps the people. So that's a lot of quotations there on a project, but it exemplifies what should be happening in the entire budgeting process of the United States government. Okay? We're developing a budget right now. There's going to be a deficit of $1.3 trillion, way too much. But that's brought about by this accumulation of the debt money system failing. Okay, that's why it's that high. Really, the number should be more like 250 to 300 billion of new money that we need. But right now, because we need to put people to work, we need to have that money. Okay, and we need to have those jobs. We need to have those wages. We need to be able to collect taxes in an ordinary taxing regime. However, we decide to do that, but we have nothing because we are stuck and grabbed and held in place by the debt industry of fractional reserve banking. It's time to put an end to that and to recognize the money system common. The fact that we own the money system, this is our money system, we can run this money system any way we want. We fought a revolution to have that right. We shouldn't give it up to the bankers. It's time to take it back. The money system common, that's the solution. It's all in the American Monetary Institute's proposal for reform. Anybody can go to www.monetary.org and take a look at the publication on proposed reform to the banking and money system. It's all there, and we can do it. There's no reason we can't do it. It's time. The time is now, America. People, United States. Thank you.